ruin your Tacoma with an aftermarket exhaust. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider smashing that subscribe button right now. So that's right, don't ruin your Toyota Tacoma with an aftermarket exhaust. Now, you know, part of my point of getting on here and having the channel is to kind of let you guys know my experience with things, right? So that maybe other people don't make the same mistakes that I've made. Kind of gives you a flavor of where this is going, right? Well, let me tell you my story. You know, I love the sound of a throaty, deep, guttural exhaust, right? You know, that sound you get when you stomp on it. I love that sound, even when you're just driving around, especially in a manual transmission, because you can run up the gears and get even a little bit more voice out of that exhaust, right? So I decided that I was going to achieve that in my 6-cylinder Toyota Tacoma. This began back with my, I think even before I had the Barcelona red Tacoma. I decided I was going to make it louder. I was shooting for the Mustang GT V8 sound because, in my opinion, several years back, of course, that was the best sounding exhaust you could get, bar none. So I started doing some research, and of course, you know, the web tells you everything. And I came across a bolt-on, I think it was a Dynaflow, Dynamax, Dyna something exhaust. So I was all excited, man. I bought this thing. It showed up at the house. I got it. I will say, I remember I was a little disappointed right off the bat because the thing didn't look good. Had a couple little, they were minor, but a little dents in it. Even might have had a little bit of rust on one of the welds. But I was new. It's really one of the first things I had ever decided to do. So I got under there and I bolted this thing on and I started it up, and for sure, you got some sound. I mean, you had some sound. Revved it a few times, and I got to admit, when I first heard it, I was even digging it. I kind of liked it. I thought, yeah, this is cool, man. So I put it on, and after a little while, you know, maybe on a little trip somewhere, I think, the wife and I were in the Tacoma, and it dawned on me, you know, this is kind of annoying. It's drony. I hear it all the time. While I'm going down the freeway, I found that when we had the radio on or I was talking to my wife, I had to speak up a little bit because I was trying to talk over this exhaust. It was really not much of an exhaust. It was just a muffler, basically. It was horrible. It was horrible. So I took it off and I put the stock exhaust back on, the muffler. And then I waited a while and I thought, well, you know, it can't be that this is all there is. Certainly I can achieve what I'm looking for, you know, some V8 grumble out of the exhaust. I mean, it's an exhaust, right? So I decided I'd do another one. And this was on the Barcelona red Tacoma that I had, the 2018. So I started doing my research again, you know, and I came across an MBRP exhaust. And I listened to some clips and stuff, and I thought, yeah, that doesn't sound bad. And of course, listening to people on the web telling me that there's no drone, you can hear it, it's a good throaty exhaust. So I thought, all right, I'm going for it. And I bought it. It arrived, looked good, looked much better than the Dyna whatever it was that I had. No dents, no rust, nothing crazy. And it was just a bolt-on muffler, basically. So I put it on. I bolted it on and, again, started it up. And, you know, it's always the same way with something new like that. You hear it and you think, wow, that sounds pretty good. Same situation, man. I had it on for a little while, and then I started to be bothered by it. It would drone. I would hear it all the time, and it wasn't a good sound. It wasn't like that, you know, nice low-frequency bass kind of grumble or sound that you get out of the Mustang GT. Oh no, it was a higher pitched, kind of metallic, drony sound all the time. So I took it off. And now this is my second exhaust, right? So I took it off and once again, put the stock exhaust back on. So, you know, I'm determined. You know, there's got to be something out there that will satisfy my needs. Well, how about OEM? Let's go OEM. You know, the TRD exhaust. Let's go with that. So I did. I purchased the TRD exhaust, put that thing on, and it was a little more involved than the others, I must say. It wasn't just a bolt-on muffler. It had some pipes and stuff that I had to mess with. But still, not that big of a deal and not that difficult to do. I put it on, started the truck up, and I gotta say, from my initial impression of all of these, it was the most disappointing. I started the truck, again, this is a Tacoma V6. Started the truck and I could barely tell any difference. So I thought, well, you know, maybe when I get it out on the road and give it some gas, I'll get something more out of it, right? So I did that. I went for a drive, and, you know, one might argue that you get a little bit more sound out of the TRD than just the stock. I would not be one to argue this. I would say that isn't true, at least not to my ear. And I know we're all sensitive to different things, right? So maybe somebody else would hear it a little bit differently. But I was disappointed. I was disappointed in that I didn't get really anything out of it. And it wasn't cheap. It was by far the most expensive exhaust that I had purchased. I think it was somewhere in the, if I recall, $600 to $800 range. So I spent all that money hoping again, and this is in addition to the other two that I had bought. But I was disappointed. I did not get the sound that I was looking for. And I will tell you that I am still running the TRD exhaust. It is on this truck now. I had taken it off of my 2018 and slapped it on this truck. And you guys can hear, we're driving around. I do have a cold air intake on here, which, by the way, I don't get a lot of sound out of either. But you guys can hear, it's certainly not a V8 Mustang GT sounding exhaust. So I've come to the conclusion that, you know, don't waste your money on an aftermarket exhaust for the Toyota Tacoma. I mean, unless you like, you know, kind of metallic-y, drone-y sounding exhausts, and some people probably do, then those are the ones for you. But otherwise, if you're looking for a more guttural, throaty sounding, you know, mean, aggressive exhaust, don't waste your money, because you're not going to get it. I have faced the reality that I am driving a V6. That's the way it is, and I'm never going to have V8 sound out of it unless I get some kind of an MP file or something and put a speaker back there and pipe it through. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, kind of impart anyone who's interested with my experiences. Again, trying to help anybody out who's thinking about doing this, so that you know, you don't get something that you don't like, because you're not going to get anything that you want, in my opinion. Leave a comment, let me know if, you know, you've put some aftermarket exhaust on and you swear that it gives you that V8 sound. I would be very curious to know. Leave a comment. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive Tundra, all about my quest, my hunt for the upcoming Toyota Tundra, the redesigned Tundra. And RobMotive JT, all about my experiences with the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.